Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I'm going to offer you my long-term review of the Maven B5 15x56 Binoculars. I've been testing these for about the past 4 months in a variety of situations. I've hunted with these things, I've shot tournament archery with these things as my go-to bit of optics, and I got to tell you, I've been wildly impressed. I think the thing I've been most impressed about these is how they work for me in tournament formats, like 3D archery or field archery. I don't have the best eyes in the world, and so sometimes I do have a little bit of trouble finding those scoring rings on the 3D targets, or being able to differentiate whether my arrow cut the line on a field target that's 50 or 60 or 70 yards away. And these things have helped immensely in that regard. I've hunted with these things. I live in Ontario, Canada, and so this is not like a Western hunting situation where you've got you need to glass for hundreds of yards at a time. Realistically, I'm only going to be 40 yards away from what I'm shooting at the high end, and so for these situations I would call that a little bit overkill. I was using an 8-power set of binoculars before, and that works fine in that situation, but for my day-to-day, my usual year-to-year hunting stuff, I don't really require a 15x56 binocular. They work great, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just they're probably more weight than I need to carry in that situation. There was only one spot this year where I really needed those things. It's actually where I got my deer. I had probably 400 or 500 yards of open space in front of me I could look at to kind of spot for does, and so I sat there all morning kind of glassing around and looking for something before my deer ended up popping out from behind me at 20 yards away. So didn't really need it for that situation ultimately, but it was nice to have to glass the field. In fact, I saw a guy walking his dogs about 500 yards away. I could clearly see who it was just using these binoculars. It was pretty cool. Couldn't do that with my regular 8 powers. As far as the quality of the optics, I'm not an optics expert. I've not done any kind of videos on binoculars really before because it's not my area of expertise. I can say that I've tried these out against some Zeiss binoculars of similar quality and a similar price tag, and for my untrained eye, they held their own really well. The build quality on these things is top-notch. The image quality seems fantastic to me, just as good as those Zeiss's, at least to my eyes. Maybe to an expert, they might have a different opinion. They might prefer one over the other. But for me, they're both just ridiculously clear. Again, I've been super impressed by these binoculars. They've been holding up really well. I've used these hard for 4 months, so they've got some dirt, and they've got a couple of scratches on the rubber coating on the outside of these magnesium frames. But beyond that, they've really been everything I've wanted out of a pair of binoculars. I think if I was to buy a new set of binoculars, I might get a 10 power or maybe a 12. That 12 would really help me with the tournament archery. But for hunting purposes, maybe an upgraded 10 would be my next bet. So maybe I'll look to see if I can borrow a pair of those for next hunting season. Until then, Archery Talk, thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. It really would help the channel an awful lot, and we will see you soon.